When people think about chess, it's more of a game or an art to some people. Some people think of it as a sport. However, every professional sport has had at least one, let's say, athlete using their own version of PEDs. Chess is its own version of PEDs, and we'll talk about that. I'll talk about it in this video. One way or another, it's referred to as some form of cheating in chess. For example, there was one incident in Dubai earlier this year with a grandmaster cheating, actually, and I'll talk about this just in a few minutes. So we as a chess community are going to have a very serious problem on the horizon. How do we catch cheaters, and how do we have preventative measures against people who are cheating in their chess games? It's a very serious problem, not only for tournament organizers, but even for the players. It's a moral problem. It's an economic issue a little bit, with given the tournament prizes, and even perhaps in the long distant future, how do you how do you discern between a cheater and a top professional? This is going to be a very serious issue. Perhaps I'll talk about how to catch a cheater, in modern times at least, in another video. For now, let's just focus on a few of the basic things about cheating, and why would someone cheat, actually. So, I mean, how do you even cheat in chess, anyways? It's not so clear. I mean, what do I mean when I say I cheat? If I'm cheating in a game? Well, that means I'm just consulting an outside resource, one way or another. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be something, could be some other kind of resource. So you're receiving some kind of guidance in your game, some kind of assistance, and it's unfair for your opponent to face this, because it's objective. It's probably much better and highly skilled than yourself. So when I talk about this, you may wonder, well, how do you cheat? Well, when it comes to cheating, people might consult their chess engines. So they might turn on their computer, a screen might pop up like this. This, for example, is chess base. They might type in a position of a game position, like this one, for example, and they turn on the engine. Very simply, they'll turn on Houdini, for example, and check out the lines that it gives. And what you'll often see out of cheaters is that they'll play either the first, second, or third best moves in any given position. So what happens is that cheaters are probably playing very, very strong moves compared to their normal human level skills, and you'll get a very, very precise amount of play, let's say. Now, the ways that people cheat are a little bit more interesting, actually. Sometimes it's not the person that is actually cheating that's playing at the board. They might be receiving advice or tips from someone else outside of the playing hall, let's say. That might be done via earphones, not like this one, which is very visible, but they might have like a remote-controlled headset that they can be getting the moves inputted from someone else outside. I think Borislav Ivanov had an interesting gadget on his leg at many points, but he was never caught on it, let's say. You guys can check it out if you're interested about Borislav Ivanov. I'll post a link describing one of the few ways he got away with cheating, I'd imagine. Another method that people get away with cheating is just having their cell phones in their pockets. They type in the chess position from memory, and perhaps they consult that engine. They go to the bathroom, for example, often, cheaters that is, and they'll type in the position and analyze it for a long time and be able to play and remember very precise moves and continuations regarding any chess position that they happen to play it. Now, I mean, we're still kind of left with the question of why would you even do this in the first place? Sure, you can cheat in chess, but what's your motive in the first place? This is a more interesting question that I've talked with a couple of people about, and some of the answers that you can get are pretty interesting, I'd say. So the first one is that perhaps the person that's cheating wants to be, in a modern sense, let's say, a troll. So what I mean by troll is that they like to troll in some way. They find enjoyment in it. and they take pleasure out of it. So some people just find it funny whenever they beat a GM, let's say, on an online server. And by turning on the engine, they find it hysterical that they managed to beat a GM because they turned on a gizmo in their laptop, and that laptop was able to beat them. They didn't even have to use that much effort. They find it funny. Now, this isn't not a common form of cheating, I'd imagine. The more common methods of cheating that I've seen among people in my experiences are the next ones I'm going to mention. One of the more prevalent ones, I would say, is fear. So the idea is that people don't like to lose. They're afraid of losing. They hate losing in some way. They don't like the feeling of their existence being undermined in some way. By losing, they feel as if it somehow undermines this thought that by losing, I'm not going to be in a good state of mind. Where's my reassurance that I'm a good chess player? It's frustrating because I have to work so hard to get to a point, and now I'm not seeing improvement, so they get frustrated. So fear is a very, very common factor in why people cheat, I'd imagine. Revenge kind of ties in back to that, and the idea is that if you don't like your opponent, let's say, and you lost to that person, and let's say if you're not as good as that person, someone might take an interest in that they would go to any measure to try to beat that opponent in chess. So by revenge, we would take a look back at that computer screen I provided at the beginning. You might see a screen like that, and they open up an engine about a chess position they might talk about. So that's what I mean by revenge. They might use an engine as a way to get back at their opponent, to show who's the dominant one, let's say. So yeah, and it's also kind of interesting. Like maybe they feel like they were somehow victimized by, let's say, the school bully. If you want to take this example analogously, let's say, you might feel the cheater might feel like they were the ones that it's not really their fault. It's more of a, let's say, an impulse of theirs to get back at that person, is what I'm saying. Another factor that you'll see in a lot of more so over the board tournaments is the money factor. Sometimes big tournaments have often not even $1,000 to $2,000 prizes for first place. Perhaps they have even $5,000 to $15,000 prizes for those who finish in first. And if money is your driving factor, then cheating is a small investment and a small price to pay. The risk of getting caught is heavily outweighed by the cash prize that you can possibly get by getting first place. I mean, lately a 15-year ban, I'd imagine, is worth it for a lot of people in their minds, because the money that you can get in one big tournament that you play in, that you decide to cheat in, could make up all of your winnings that you'll ever get. So there is a cost-benefit analysis that cheaters take into account that they take carefully, of course, and that they take into account, let's say. So they're not concerned about the love of the game, I would say, so much if they're cheating for money. Okay, and the last one is the most interesting one, I would say. This is kind of an idea that I came up to kind of explain addictive cheating. This is pretty much the most interesting kind of thing, I would say. A lot of the time you'll see on chess.com or on ChessCube a lot of cheaters playing, obviously, but what happens is that you'll see often similar usernames, handles, indicating that perhaps it's the same people, or it's the same people that's cheating, that are cheating in their games. They'll come back on the website after being banned, and they'll create and open a new account, and it takes a while for the websites to realize it's the same person, or it's again, this person is cheating again by using engine assistance in some way for online. So the idea is that these people that are, let's say, repeating this cycle of sorts of creating an account and then finally getting banned after playing these engine moves and getting caught online, are in a cycle of sorts. Now, the idea of why you would want to cheat in this kind of scenario is that people that are cheating in this scenario want attention for themselves. The idea is that if you're cheating and you're beating a lot of great players, you're probably going to receive attention for and notoriety for your accomplishments, in quotes. Accomplishments is a bit, let's say, has a catch to it, of course, there. Since it's not really the cheater that's actually winning, it's the engine that happens to be playing for you. They want acknowledgement for what they've done. They want to feel like they're on the same pedestal as all those other top players that worked very hard for those achievements that person accomplished just by using an engine. And by doing that, they can feel a little fame. They feel like, okay, now that I've showed my dominance over others, it's like now I'm here and I can say that I'm the best. That's all the time. That's what you see with a lot of cheaters. This kind of frame of mind that they're able to be the best without actually having to work for it, and it's such an easy and temporary solution. Often you'll see. Now, the cycle idea is a much more interesting topic, I would say. What happens is that you might start out with a certain level of stress because you were underperforming, you hated losing, or for whatever reason, you liked the feeling of winning for whatever reason. So you're stressed for whatever reason. The cheater is stressed and led on to believe that, you know what, it's actually worth it to cheat because you're able to accomplish what you may never do. Actually, you may never become, or you may never beat a grandmaster. You may never beat an international master. You may never cross the 2,000 mark or 2,400 mark rating wise. And by using an engine, you're able to act out, let's say, in a way and achieve your goals that you always dreamed of. In that sense, a lot of these addicts don't actually feel guilt and remorse, though, nor shame and depression. Perhaps depression, because they're committing the same things over and over without recourse. And what you'll often see is that it's a small kind of high that they get off of winning games, but often the person doesn't realize that they're only hurting themselves by making others waste their time or suffer with them. So it's not a very fun cycle to be in, I would say. And so consequently, they don't even get better, of course. They're delaying their improvement, and they're not even realizing that it's not beneficial for them, and they're only hurting those around them. So in summary, the chess community has to worry about cheating in the future, whether that's via computer or human assistance. It's not even computers, by the way, that people use these days. It might be a student might consult his or her coach, and the coach actually was in on the thing of the event of cheating. This has happened quite often, actually. Or it could be that you received assistance from a person maybe 10 miles away that happened to be using an engine. So a combination of these things that happens to be at work there. And the 5 very common reasons for cheating online and over the board are trolling, fear, revenge, money, and different kinds of traits that people seek to acknowledge in their pursuit of their wants and desires, let's say. A person that I consulted when I did this video for is JDC Cannon. His chess.com name is JDC Cannon. and I could not have created some of these different kinds of ideas without him. So just want to give a shout out to him. Thank you very much to him. And hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you have any questions or comments, perhaps advice on what I've said here, that would be very welcome. If I left out anything or if I'm wrong about anything, that's very much welcome as well. I would appreciate any kind of discussion here. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you later.